Well, we're getting close to Power Struggle where we're going to see who wins the double championship between Naito and Evil. Kenta will put his IWGP United States Championship contract on the line against Hiroshi Tanahashi and many other things. But don't forget, we're also getting close to Wrestle Kingdom. Right now, it's getting closer. But we're going to do something for the first time ever on this particular YouTube page. We're going to review Ring of Honor since they've been doing the Pure Championship Tournament, which is a title that no one's have been using for almost 15 years. All that will be discussed on Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, many matches, promotions, wrestlers, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, right now, let's get on with the show with day two officially to New Japan Pro Wrestling's Road to Power Struggle. There were other dates, but they were never broadcast. I don't know what was that about, but it this that we had 2 days of it. So let's do it day two on this one since I already reviewed day one. First match is always with the Young Lions, but I'll skip ahead. It was between Yuya Emura and Yota Tsuji. Now we've been seeing these either Umura, Tsuji, and Gabriel Kidd face off. It doesn't matter how many times, but it's always been very interesting. But for this particular match, it was Umura and Tsuji, and in this particular match, it was Umura who won the match, as I normally been seeing. But sometimes you guys got to pay attention to young lions who will be more prospect down the line. Now the first match is a six-man tag between Chaos members Toru Yano, Yoshihashi, Hiroki Goto versus Suzuki-gun members Taichi, Zack Sabre Jr., and Doiki. Now, if you guys don't know what's going on, Yoshihashi and Goto are going to be facing Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles. But however, Zack Sabre Jr. also wants the Covenant King of Pro Wrestling 2020 that is currently being the trophy being held by none other than Toru Yano. So that's why one of these matches are very precise. Now this match has proven many times over about Yoshihashi how much he's evolving as a wrestler, bouncing back this year, making him stand out more as we normally the more we've been seeing him. And of course, this allowed him to win this match in this six-man tag against Suzuki-gun. But we're getting closer to when they will be Yoshihashi and Goto will be facing Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles. The next match we have is the Great Okan and Will Ospreay versus Kazuchika Okada, and this time instead of having Gabriel Kidd to be with him as a tag team partner, he did have this one as always. My bad. It was the next match that happened. But as always, Kazuchika Okada doesn't seem like he's able to pick up a victory. Now, we do know his main focus is to get Will Ospreay, but the only person he has to get through is none other than the Great Okan. As much to dismay, we've been seeing B. Priestley getting in the way, always trying to run interference. But however, Kazuchika Okada still has no match against both the Great Okan and Will Ospreay aka the Empire. That is their new faction name. That it seems like, but it still then remain a question: who will join the Empire? I don't know. That's gonna be a very interesting thing to watch. Now, the next match we have Bullet Club members. The return of Chase Owens. We haven't seen him in New Japan for a while. We have seen him on the NJPW Strong, but as you know, the restrictions between here, the US, to Japan has been very strict. But now it seems they're lifting it up a bit. He's teaming with none other than the Kenta and of course Jay White. Those two have their own priorities to face off. As you know, Kenta wants a piece of Jon Moxley to obtain the IWGP United States Championship, and Jay White wants the briefcase that belongs to that Kota Ibushi obtained at the G1 with the contract for a title shot at Wrestle Kingdom. But this particular match was very interesting. They were facing against Humna, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and of course Kota Ibushi. It's one of those matches, as we always seen, the rivalry between Kenta and Jay White against Bushi and Tanahashi's always taking a toll all the time. But luckily, in this particular match, it was Chase Owens who picked up the victory against Humna, making sure that whatever happens, that he leaves everything else to the other two. But however, this thing between Kenta and Jay White against their respected opponents is far from over. Now, the next match is another Bullet Club match. This time is Bullet Club members Yujiro Takahashi and Evil, along with Master Spoiler himself, Dick Togo, versus LIJ, Sanada, and Tetsuya Naito. But this time, as always, we've been seeing Naito, Dick Togo keeps interfering, but however, somehow, some way, these guys were able, LIJ were able to pick up another great victory. But however, Evil and Dick Togo were not going to tolerate with this, because as you know, he's been telling people that Naito is a false champion. He doesn't deserve to be champion, that he stole that from him. He's always been under a shadow. But that's until we get to Power Struggle. Now, the main event, this is a title match. This one is for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles between LIJ members Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi versus Suzuki-gun members and current champions El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. So, as you know, there have been a tense rivalry between these two teams back in the past. As you know, a couple years ago, it was LIJ who lost the IWGP Junior Tag titles to Kanemaru and Desperado. But this time, the reason this match took place was because we did not have no junior tag league this year due to some of the wrestlers we've seen in the junior heavyweight division were not able to be around. I'm talking about guys like Robbie Eagles, El Fantasmo, many others who we've seen over time who were part of that division. But it has to do just these two as much as possible. The reason, as you all know, it was Roppongi 3K had to vacant the titles. Yo sustained an injury that's going to put him out a few months, but it could give Sho an opportunity to showcase himself as a singles competitor. But this match proved it was one of the most intense matches between both Bushi and Hiromu against El Desperado and Kanemaru. One of the best matches. But however, they were so close in beating them. They were unable to beat them several times. Post-match, Desperado has now declared that they are now the best junior heavyweight tag team in the industry. Now, it has proven many times. These guys had one of the longest reigning tag team runs ever, because if you guys don't know this, they lost their titles about back in 2019, early 2019, against LIJ members Shingo Takagi and Bushi. One team that people think it was unfair because Takagi was in the borderline as junior heavyweight and a heavyweight. but he was able to lose some pounds in order to do that. But I'm not sure if there will ever be another match like this with both LIJ members, Bushi and Hiromu, and against Desperado and Kanemaru. So that's day 2 right now. So let's move on with day 3. All right, day 3 on the road to power struggle for New Japan Pro Wrestling. As always, the Young Lions take the stage. This time it's Gabriel Kidd versus Yorosuji. As we've been seeing, Gabriel Kidd is one of the most well stand out individuals in the Young Lions. He picked up the victory for this one. I'm starting to become a fan of him, because not only because he just been, and I'm not crediting him because he was with Okada, but he has been demonstrating whenever he's in matches against other Young Lions that he could be a good wrestler down the line, even if he is in the New Japan Dojo. The next match we have LIJ members Bushi, Hiromu, and Shingo Takagi versus Suzuki-gun members Minoru Suzuki, El Desperado, and Kanemaru. So this is a very interesting match. As you know, Shingo Takagi will face what's his name? Oh yeah, Suzuki for the Never Openweight Championship. Are we ever going to see another match between both LIJ members, Bushi and, well, we don't know. But this match was more about egos and grudges. It's mostly coming from both Takagi and Takagi and Suzuki. So they've been going back and forth, even when LIJ picked up the victory. So they decided to take this up in the back. It was so wild between those two. You guys know Minoru Suzuki. He loves a good fight. He feels like someone needs to pick a fight. Well, he picked it himself. That's Minoru Suzuki for you guys. If you guys are not familiarized with him, you should. You guys should be familiarized with Minoru Suzuki. Next match, we have Bullet Club members Chase Owens, Kenta, and Jay White versus Honma, Tanahashi, and Ibushi this time. So basically, we've been seeing much of the same rivalry between them, but however, as always, you've been seeing a lot of the dominance with Bullet Club for many times over. Like I said, Kenta is in a match against Tanahashi for the IWGP United States Championship contract that's going to be on the line, even though Tanahashi wants to face Jon Moxley. But Kenta wants him too, so does Jeff Cobb, and so does many other people that want that contract. We've got Jay White, who's gunning for Kota Ibushi's briefcase with the contract for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship for Wrestle Kingdom. This match is the same old result, but however, this time they Bullet Club won, and of course in post-match, Kenta broke the briefcase, making another huge dent. The similar faction that took place last year when he tried to take Kota Ibushi's contract. So that really what happened. But as for Jay White, he takes the contract that Bushi has. He still tries to believe that contract is meant for him. It's his year now. Because I mentioned many times over, there's scenarios that can be played at the end for this. As you know, Evil wants the double championships back on his shoulders so he can go to Wrestle Kingdom, which is one of the biggest events in the start of the year. Both White and Evil wants that. Now, do I think New Japan are going to go with that? I'm not sure. But I would love to see that. So, however, let's keep moving forward. The next match we have. I skipped the match. The second match, it was Will Ospreay, Great-O-Khan, and along with B. Priestley versus Yuya Uemura and Kazuchika Okada. So this time he switched Young Lions. So Okada picked Uemura this time. Now, do I think it was a wise choice? To be honest with you, right now, for him, he's having a hard time trying to find a stable partner for him. As you know, he felt betrayed by him. I'm not sure what Okada was trying to do. What's the point of having a young line? I mean, he could have had anybody by his side. He could have had Tomohiro Ishii by his side. He could have had um, Sho by his side. I mean, whoever would have been the perfect partner for him, but he picked these guys instead. But however, it's still not enough to beat a guy like the Great Okan. That's one of the main factors with them. So that kind of ended that way. Now we go back to where I left off. Another Bullet Club Lij match. This time is Bullet Club members Evil and Yujiro facing off with Lij, Sonata, and Naito. But this time, Naito and Sonata made a beeline to Evil and Yujiro because, as you know, they're not going to waste time. The match was pretty much in a very more intense way. Naito is still trying to hold on to those titles. He doesn't want to lose them. He wants to go to Wrestle Kingdom. Much as Evil wants those titles back, so that's one of the things. But however, it was Lij that picked up the victory on this one. Even Dick Togo tried to interfere, but it's still not enough. But it ended that way. And then the next match is the main event. This one, I have to say, was an incredible match it's for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles between Chaos members Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto versus Suzuki-gun members Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. Now, you ask me this I always talk about Yoshihashi. What an incredible wrestler he has becoming this year. He's bouncing back more. But my favorite moment is when you see Taichi and Yoshihashi going head to head. Punches, kicks, punches, submission moves, pile drivers, whatever it was going to work. I have to say, this is one of the best matches that I've seen so far with Yoshihashi. Not only because he was 1/3 of the never open weight 6-man tag team champions, I feel like he can also compete both as single and tag team competition. But was it enough to win? To be honest with you, it did not. Now, as you all know, Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. are a bunch of cocky dudes. They claim they're better than everyone else, that no one can beat them. Don't say that no one can beat you. Sooner or later, someone's going to beat you for those titles. That's, mark my words, because we're also getting close to World Tag League. I would love to see Goto and Yoshihashi competing. Would you guys like that? We still haven't heard yet who will be participating for World Tag League. But however, when I get to the news updates, we will find out who will participate at the Best of the Super Juniors and the Super J Cup. So right now, let's talk about Ring of Honor right about now. Alright, this is the first time I bring Ring of Honor for all of you guys here. So if you guys are not fans of Ring of Honor, I understand, but we cannot deny that they have some great talent, but their product doesn't stand out that very much. Things haven't been the same for these guys for two reasons. Right now, they're still dealing with the whole thing with the pandemic, having no audiences. I don't think they have the same kind of capability what AEW is doing, because we do know Impact don't have audiences. WWE and has WWE has fans for NXT and possibly 205 Live. And AEW has fans too, but there's no way. Ugh, excuse me. Now, the first match of the night is Taylor Promotions with the consistent of Shane Taylor and other members, Moses and Khan or something. So anyway, these guys, Shane Taylor has now entered a beef rivalry with none other than the sensual character himself. I'm talking about the man who kept repeating every time, control your own narrative, EC3. Now, if you guys ask yourselves, I thought he was with Impact Wrestling. Well, he is not officially. He made appearances there without working contract. It is common for wrestlers who make appearances in other promotions without contracts, unless if you're exclusive with that promotion. Now, EC3 teamed up with them boys, the Briscoes, which is kind of unique because the problem is this: I've it's been told already that Shane Taylor and the other Moses and Khan work together cohesively as a unit, but seeing both EC3 and the Briscoes together, that is a different story. Now, what led to this match between this match to happen? Reason is EC3 made no intentions to talk about Shane Taylor. Basically, Shane Taylor felt like he was not, like they're saying, oh, no one's giving you a little attention. That's what it was for him. But this time he wanted to pick a fight against EC3. And there's an old saying, be careful what you wish for. But however, it was a good match. Seeing EC3 and the Briscoes working together, that is something great to watch. But it still wasn't enough to beat Shane Taylor Promotions, so they picked up the victory on this one. Now, they only had 2 matches because the reason is this particular match went up to 35 minutes in length or so. This time is the finals for the Pure Championship, for the return of Pure Championship, which is the last title holder. You may have known him, Bryan Danielson, better known as right now in WWE, Daniel Bryan. So this is one of those amazing matches you gotta watch. You have 2 wrestlers. We have Jonathan Gresham and Tracy Williams. These two have similar styles. I'm talking about catch wrestling, submission wrestling. That is what these guys are all about. If you guys know about Tracy Williams, he was part of a faction that Drew Gulak formed called Catchpoint. Yeah, I'm talking about those guys that do that. That do that all the time and evolve. And now he is part of the finals facing against the Octopus, Bryan Gresham. He's the master in many submission moves. He's very technical and strategy on every level. My thoughts of this match was purely amazing. A pure match. Now, you can say what you want about Ring of Honor. Oh, those guys, they ain't full nothing. Yeah, I get that. I get it. But if you watch the match yourself, you know what I'm talking about. But the real question you must ask, who won the match? Jonathan Gresham won by a submission because he knew Tracy Williams had an arm injury. He always has his arm taped up right here. He knew about that, so that's a very strategy move that he pulled in. Now, when he won the match, they have a thing in Ring of Honor where you shake hands before the match start and after. And that's the sign of respect. We haven't seen that much of it for a long time. But however, after the match was over, his tag team partner, if you guys don't know this, Jonathan Gresham is currently one half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions along with Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal comes out to congratulate him and put the Pure Championship on his waist. So we have a brand new Pure Champion, and that is Jonathan Gresham. And I don't know what his wife is saying right now. If you guys pay attention to her Twitter page, I'm sure she's happy. If you guys don't know who his wife is, it's none other than former Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace. So I'm very happy to see that. That was a great match. So right now, let's talk in the news updates right now. Okay, there's been a lot of questions that's been going out and out and out since Bound for Glory. If you all remembered, we had a Knockouts Championship match that was supposed to take place. It had already been advertised. We're talking about the match that was supposed to be the former champion, Deonna Purrazzo, who was at the time the champion, versus Kylie Rae. We don't know what happened. Finally, it's been revealed. Kylie Rae is now retired from wrestling. Now, this is something all too familiar for all of us. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to what happened to her in AEW. We only seen her in one show for AEW. That was in Double or Nothing last year in that fatal four-way match with Britt Baker and Nyla Rose and Awesome Kong. That was it. We haven't seen her since that time. She said she was done with wrestling, and now this time she's saying, now, I don't like to jump to conclusions. I'm not going to say she's crazy. I have to say, whatever her deal is, I can understand that maybe she's dealing with a lot of pressure. It's the same thing that happened with AEW. There was talk that they had great plans for her. The original plan is to have her become the first ever AEW Women's World Champion. That was the plan that they wanted with her, but they had to change it. Now, whatever's going on with Kylie Rae, we need to respect her privacy. Don't jump into conclusion. Now, if she's having issues with herself and that's the reason she's leaving wrestling, we need to be respectful. I know many wrestlers already talked about this in the social media and Facebook and other people saying, thank you, Kylie Rae, for all the things you have done in wrestling, that sort of thing. But yeah, but like I said, don't jump into conclusions just yet. I hope she's okay. I hope she does whatever she wants to do in the future, even if it's not wrestling. So, as for now, let's just move forward to now talk about, as you all know, we have two New Japan Pro Wrestling tournaments coming up. They're both junior heavyweights match events. First one is the Best of the Super Juniors 27 and the Super J Cup tournament. Now, if you guys know this, this is a national. The Best of Super Junior is similar kind of what they did for the G1 point based system. The best the Super Cup, Super J Cup, that's a different story. It's more of elimination than the point system. It's not going to take place in Japan. It's going to take place here. It's actually, in fact, you don't win a trophy. You just win a golden jacket. This was the Super J Cup was in fact an idea that was created by former NJPW star. I'm talking about Yushin Thunder Liger. So they already announced today for who in fact is going to participate for both events. So here who's participating at the Best of the Super Juniors 27. Ryusuke Taguchi. First time, Master Wato. Sho, Robbie Eagles. Hiromu Takahashi. El Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Doiki, and Taishi Ishimori, who is in fact the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Now you ask yourself, but J-Rod, why doesn't he get involved? Well, he has to get involved. It's the same thing that Naito did for when he was involved at the G1. Champions have to be involved. Now, however, the rule is still applied like the G1 that I mentioned. Basically, if the champion wins the entire match, they have the right to decide who they want to pick to face off. So that is a very interesting subject that many people can say. You guys don't know this. You have all three members of Suzuki-gun involved. We have both El Desperado, Kanemaru, and Doiki. Those three guys are the only three members in Suzuki-gun who are junior heavyweights. And of course we have Chaos members Sho and Robbie Eagles. You know, even though Yo is out in an injury, that's going to be interesting. Master Wato, this is his first time being in the Best of the Super Juniors. But as for Robbie Eagles, this is the first time we haven't seen him since early this year, which is kind of very cool to see. I know if you guys don't know this, you ask where he was. He's from Australia, and of course the restriction has been going on down there too. So that's pretty much it for involvement for the Best of the Super Juniors 27, who is participating in the Super J Cup this year. So here's who's going to be involved. TJP, ACH, Leo Rush, Impact Wrestling star Chris Bay, Ring of Honor star Ray Horace, Blake Christian, Clark Connors, and El Fantasmo. So these are the guys who are involved. Now you ask yourself, why are they having Chris Bay? I thought he was from Impact. There's no relations with those guys. That may be true. I know Impact Wrestling wants to do an alliance with New Japan, but however, New Japan has issues toward them because of certain wrestlers that they had in the past. And that's many of the reasons that happen, even though the Good Brothers are going to make appearances in New Japan when things change. Ring of, as you know, Ray Horace, who's Ring of Honor, he has Ring of Honor. New Japan has a great relations. Having Leo Rush in there, that is a surprise to me. Of course, the one person who I haven't seen for a while, and that is El Fantasmo. He was one of the few members from Bullet Club that we still haven't seen. My assumption he's from England. He's Canadian. I don't know how he was restricted from there. How the whole thing with the pandemic. But it's great to hear from him that he is back and all this other stuff. Now the final update. This just came in today. Allysin Kay is now a free agent. She is no longer under contract with NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. So the real question some of you might want to ask, who is in fact she's going to go with? It's either WWE, Impact Wrestling, or AEW. Now, that is a very tough question, but however, you need to ask yourselves, are any of these three promotions interested? I do know she's been with Impact when she was known as Sienna, and that's pretty much it. Now, would WWE have her? I know she made appearances at the Mae Young Classic. I'm not sure if they're interested in signing her, but we'll just wait and see what they think of it. She was, before Thunder Rosa, she was the NWA World's Women's Champion. But we'll just wait and see what happens. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Me reviewing New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor for the first time. Well, I talk about New Japan all the time, but Ring of Honor, that's a different story. But I will keep up more with Ring of Honor for all of you guys whenever they have their upcoming events. I think that's pretty much it. I'll learn more as we go with New Japan and everything else. So get ready for another Tuesday Wrestling involving Impact Wrestling and AEW Dark. So I must bid all of you guys adieu. So goodbye. And have a nice day.